April 18th. 1 Kings 15, 16, and 17. 1 Kings 15. And in the 18th year of sovereign Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abiam became sovereign over Judah. And he reigned 3 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect to Yah his Elohim, as was the heart of his father David. But for David's sake, Yah his Elohim gave him a lamp in Jerusalem to raise up his son after him, and by establishing Jerusalem, Jerusalem. For David did what was right in the eyes of Yah, and did not turn aside from all that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. And there was fighting between Rahab and Jeroboam all the days of his life. And the rest of the acts of Abiam, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Judah? And there was fighting between Abiam and Jeroboam. So Abiam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And Asa his son reigned in his place. And in the 20th year of Jeroboam, sovereign of Israel, Asa became sovereign over Judah. And he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. And his grandmother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And Asa did what was right in the eyes of Yah, as his father David had, and put away the cult prostitutes of the land, and removed all the idols that his fathers had made. He also removed Maacah, his grandmother, from being sovereigness mother, because she had made an abominable image for Ashtoreth. And Asa cut down her abominable image, and burned it by the Wadi Kidron. But the high places were not removed. However, Asa's heart was perfect with Yah all his days. And he brought into the house of Yah the set-apart items of his father, and the set-apart item, and his own set-apart items, silver and gold and utensils. And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, sovereign of Israel, all their days. And Baasha, sovereign of Israel, came up against Judah, and built Ramah to keep anyone from going out or coming in to Asa of Judah. And Asa took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the house of Yah, and the treasuries of the sovereign's house, and gave them into the hand of his servants. And sovereign Asa sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Tabrimmon, son of Hezion, sovereign of Aram, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Let there be a covenant between you and me, as there was between my father and your father. Look, I sent you a present of silver and gold. Come, break your covenant with Baasha, sovereign of Israel, so that he withdraws from me. And Ben-Hadad listened to sovereign Asa, and sent the commanders of his armies against the cities of Israel, and struck Eon, and Dan, and Abel-Beth, Maacah, and all Kinneroth, with all the land of Naphtali. And it came to be, when Baasha heard it, that he stopped building Ramah, and remained in Tirzah. Then sovereign Asa summoned all Judah, none was exempted. And they took away the stones and timber of Ramah, and Baasha, which Baasha had used for building. And with them sovereign Asa built Geba of Benjamin, and Mitzvah. And the rest of all the acts of Asa, and all his might, and all that he did, and the cities which he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Judah? But in the time of his old age he was diseased in his feet, So Asa slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his place. And Nadab son of Jeroboam became sovereign over Israel in the 2nd year of Asa sovereign of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yah, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sin, by which he made Israel sin. And then Baasha of Aiah, of the house of Issachar, conspired against him. And Baasha struck him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. For Nadab and all Israel had laid siege to Gibbethon. And Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he became sovereign, that he struck all the house of Jeroboam, and did not leave to Jeroboam anyone breathing, until he had destroyed him, according to the word of Yah, which he had spoken by his servant Aiah the Shilonite, because of the sins of Jeroboam, which he had sinned, and by which he had made Israel sin, because of his provocation with which he had provoked Yah Elohim of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Nadab, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? And there was fighting between Asa and Bashan, sovereign of Israel, all their days. In the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Bashan, son of Aiah, became sovereign over all Israel in Tirzah, and reigned 24 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yah, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin by which he made Israel sin. Then the word of Yah came to Yehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha, saying, Because I raised you up out of the dust, and made you ruler over my people Israel, but you walked in the way of Jeroboam, and made my people Israel sin, to provoke me with their sins. See, I am going to sweep away Baasha and his house, and shall make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Anyone belonging to Baasha who dies in a city, the dogs eat, and anyone belonging to him who dies in a field, the birds of the heavens eat. And the rest of the acts of Baasha, what he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? And Baasha slept with his fathers, and was buried in Tirzah, and his son Elah reigned in his place. Moreover, the word of Yah came by the prophet Yehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha and his house, because of all the evil that he did in the eyes of Yah, in provoking him with the work of his hands, and being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he struck them. In the 26th year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Elah, son of Baasha, began to reign over Israel in Tirzah 2 years. And his servant Zimri, commander of half his chariots, conspired against him as he was in Tirzah, drinking himself drunk in the house of Arza, who was over his house in Tirzah. Then Zimri came in and struck him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he began to reign, as soon as he was seated on the throne, that he struck all the household of Baasha. He did not leave him one male, neither of his relatives nor of his friends. So Zimri destroyed the entire house of Baasha, according to the word of Yah, which he spoke against Baasha by Yehu the prophet. For all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they had sinned, and by which they had made Israel sin, in provoking Yah Elohim of Israel in their worthlessnesses. And the rest of the acts of Allah, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Zimri reigned 7 days. Zimri reigned 7 days in Tirzah, and the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people who were encamped heard it, and said, Zimri has conspired, and also struck the sovereign. So all Israel set up on Imri, the commander of the army, to reign over Israel that day in the camp. And Omri went up, and all Israel with him. From Gibbethon they besieged Tirzah. And it came to be, when Zimri saw that the city was captured, he went into a high place of the sovereign's house, and burned the sovereign's house down upon himself with fire, and died, because of the sins which he had sinned in doing evil in the eyes of Yah, and walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he had committed to make Israel sin. And the rest of the acts of Zimri, and the conspiracy he made, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? Then the people of Israel were divided into 2 parts. Half the people followed Tibni, son of Gilnath, to make him reign, and half followed Omri. But the people who followed Omri were stronger than the people who followed Tibni, son of Ginath. And Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Omri became sovereign over Israel, and reigned 12 years. He reigned 6 years in Tirzah. And he bought the hill of Shomron from Shimmer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built Shomron, after the name Shimmer, owner of the hill. And Omri did evil in the eyes of Yah, and did more evil than all those before him, and walked in all the ways of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and in his sin by which he made Israel sin, provoking Yah, Elohim of Israel, with their worthlessnesses. And the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and the might which he attained, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? And Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Shimron. And Ahab, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Asa, sovereign of Judah, Ahab, son of Omri, became sovereign over Israel. And Ahab, son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Shomron 22 years. And Ahab, son of Omri, did evil in the eyes of Yah, more than all those before him. And it came to be, as though it had been a light matter for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam of Nebat. That he took as wife Isabel, the daughter of Ithbaal, sovereign of the Sidonians. And he went and served Baal, and bowed himself to it, and reigned up a slaughter place for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Shimron. And Ahab made an Asherah, and Ahab did more to provoke Yah, Elohim of Israel, than all the sovereigns of Israel before him. In the days of Hiel of Bethel, in his days, Hiel of Bethel built Jericho, and laid its foundation, at the cost of Abram his firstborn, and at the cost of his youngest son, Segub. He set up its gates, according to the word of Yah, which he had spoken through Joshua son of Nun. 1 Kings 17. And Eliyahu the Tishbite of the inhabitants of Gilad said to Ahab, As Yah Elohim of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall be no dew or rain these years, except at my word. And the word of Yah came to him, saying, Go away from here, and turn eastward, and hide by the Wadi Kereth, which flows into the Yarden. And it shall be that you drink from the stream, and I shall command the ravens to feed you there. And he went and did according to the word of Yah. For he went and dwelt by the Wadi Kereth, which flows into the Yarden. And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the stream. And it came to be after a while that the stream dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of Yah came to him, saying, Rise up, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. See, I have commanded a widow there to sustain you. And he rose up and went to Zarephath, and came to the gate of the city, and saw a widow there gathering sticks. And he called and said to her, Please bring me a little water in a vessel to drink. And as she was going to get it, he called and said to her, Please bring me a piece of bread in your hand. And she said, As Yah your Elohim lives, I do not have bread, only a handful of flour in a bin, and a little oil in a jar. And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks, and shall go in, and prepare it for myself and my son, and we shall eat it, and die. And Eliah said to her, Do not fear, go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me, and afterward make some for yourself and your son. For thus said Yah, Elohim of Israel, The bin of flour shall not be used up, nor the jar of oil run dry, until the day Yah sends rain on the earth. So she went and did according to the word of Eliyahu. And she and her household ate for many days. And the bin of flour was not used up, nor did the jar of oil run dry, according to the word of Yah, which he spoke by Eliyahu. And after these events, it came to be that the son of the woman who owned the house became sick, and his sickness was very severe, until there was no breath left in him. And she said to Eliyahu, What have I to do with you, O man of Elohim? Have you come to me to bring my crookedness to be remembered, and to kill my son? And he said to her, Give me your son. So he took him from her arms, and took him to the upper room where he was dwelling, and laid him on his own bed, and cried out to Yah, and said, O Yah, my Elohim, have you also brought evil on the widow, with whom I am sojourning, to kill her son? And he stretched himself out on the child 3 times, and cried out to Yah, and said, O Yah, my Elohim, I pray, let the life of this child come back to him. And Yah heard the voice of Eliyahu, and the life of the child came back to him, and he lived. And Eliyahu took the child, and brought him down from the upper room into the house, and gave him to his mother. And Eliyahu said, See, your son lives. And the woman said to Eliyahu, Now by this I know that you are a man of Elohim, and that the word of Yah is in your mouth, and the word of Yah in your mouth is truth.